Hi, it's Sarah here from Crafting and Stamping, and I'm back with another quick tip, or set of tips as it might be today. But my tips today are about creating torn edges with your papers. And this takes me a little bit outside my comfort zone, I'll be honest. This isn't something that I particularly tend to add to my projects. I like clean and simple designs, and tearing is not quite so clean and simple in my view. But I do think it is worth stepping outside our comfort zones every so often, just to try things out and add to our crafting toolkit. So that's one of the things that I'm going to go over today. I've already created my card layers for this, and I will explain. This possibly seems a bit wasteful, but I'm going to explain why I've done it the way that I have as we get to it. For the first part, I would say get yourself a scrap of paper that you don't care about. This is just for us to test, because what you first of all need to do is find out which way you tear, which way you rip. I suspect that for right-handed people, we probably use the same tearing method, but I could be wrong about that. So I want you to test it out. Just get a piece and just rip it. And what I noticed is that I'm pulling with my right hand, so I get what I think of as the more pretty torn edge on the bottom of this piece. And because these have got a white core to them, you then get that white core shown on the other edge. So that is my right-handed piece. And so one of the decisions you need to make is, do you want a torn edge like that is a little bit tidier, that suits me best, or do you want a torn edge that is even more distressed with this sort of core showing here? And this is going to depend on your papers as well. Some may not have a white core, and if you're tearing our cardstock, let me just grab a scrap of cardstock here. If you tear this, it is all one colour. So like I say, first thing to do is check your tearing method so that you know what you're going to get when you tear. So like I said, I've put these layers together. I've got a card base of soft succulent, and I've got 3 layers of 5.5 by 3 7/8 paper. So I've got the distressed gold, which is going to be my base layer. Then I'm going to have this soft succulent-ish layer that is going to go over the top of here, and this evening evergreen layer. Both of these are the Texture Chic DSP. That's going to go on the top. And the reason that I've done this is I could cut away. At first you won't necessarily know how deep you're going, so you might need to cut away afterwards. But if you cut away here and then stick this over the top, if you press down at all, you're going to be able to feel and see the edge of this layer. One thing that you could do if you're wanting to save on this special paper is you could just put an ordinary layer of scrap DSP to match, so that it's going to give you all one layer. So I hope that kind of explains why I'm doing it with such big pieces. So my way of tearing, I'm wanting this piece here. So I'm wanting my right hand edge. So I am going to tear from the bottom, and I want to tear it, and I'm wanting to tear it at a little bit of a diagonal up here. So if I want this torn edge, I need to be tearing this way. If I was wanting that torn edge, then I would need to turn it around and come this way. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to you. So because, like I say, I'm going for this one, I'm going to start here and I'm going to tear, like I say, at a little bit of a diagonal like that. So you can see that I've got the torn edge that I want there, rather than that white core piece. So, but I can always use that elsewhere, and I'm actually going to use a little bit of that for the insert as well. So I'm going to keep that to one side. So now my next one, I want to come up a bit further, but I don't want to come up too far because I've still got my sentiment that I need to place, and I'm actually wanting that really all on this piece. So I'm just going to lay that down. So I want to start around about here, and this is where you can start to control it a little bit. If you want to get a little bit more of a wave in it, you can go slower, whereas that first piece I ripped quickly. So you can sort of take a piece out like that, and that then is going to give me that layer over there. So I've only got a little bit of that soft succulent layer showing. And what I'm going to do now is glue these layers together. I'm going to use the multi-purpose liquid glue because I want to go quite close to the edge-ish, not too close because I don't want my glue to ooze out. So I'm just following the line and a little bit in the middle, and then I'm going to pop this over here. And because I've used the multi-purpose liquid glue, I can slide this about to get it lined up. And then when it is lined up, just gently press that down, just being careful so that the glue doesn't ooze out. So, whoops, and that is oozing out. Let me grab another one. That one's also oozing. There must be something about the air pressure in here today. So I'm just being careful. Now I've got a bit more control over it, I can do these edge pieces. So if that ever happens to you, just be a little bit careful, and I'm just pulling this and spreading it down here. It can happen when the air pressure changes, and we've got a heavy fog here today, so that's probably all part of it. So there we have the layers. I'll just press these down. And the reason, of course, that I decided to show this technique today and the torn edges is because these papers do have a distressed look already. I'm actually going to stick this now with my stamping seal. So the distressed look really does fit together with the torn edges. So like I say, whilst that's not my normal style, it's appropriate to the papers. And even that distressed gold paper in the background, again, it's still a distressed look. The gold foiling on these Texture Chic papers, this has a distressed look as well, because you don't see the whole pattern. Some of it's kind of rubbed away, as it were. So now I just need to grab some dimensionals. Where are my dimensionals gone? Here we go. So like I said, I'd already prepared this because the tip today is about the tearing, not about the rest of the card. But like I say, hopefully that gives you an idea. And like I say, do yourself a test first so that you know which way you're tearing, and therefore which side of the card to tear to and from to get the look that you want. So let me just stand up so that I can get this. And these papers, I think, are fabulous, as I've said, for men's and women's cards. But I also think these greens, the evening evergreen, soft succulent, and particularly putting together with the gold, make this really nice as well for a Christmas design. I appreciate it's probably a bit early to be talking about Christmas, but what I'm saying is if you get your hands on these papers are going to do you year round. They really are. So I might just put something here to finish this card off. But like I say, it was really about the tearing today and you deciding which sort of torn edge you want, whether you want it with the white showing or not, as I've done with this one, and being able to understand which direction of tearing gives you that result so that you can use it for your card. So please do subscribe to my channel below to see a quick tip every Friday and a quick card every Monday. Thanks for stopping by.